All right, folks, welcome back and welcome to the channel. My name's Darren, and today we're working on a 1968 in bright white. So I got the grill done, got the surrounds painted, the grill's painted. It turned out really nice. I'm very happy with that. I pulled the engine back out like we talked about, I don't know, last week, the week before, to switch out the oil pan. This was a truck oil pan, and it's too low to the ground. It'll scrape underneath when you're driving it. So we went to, what time did we bought a Camaro aftermarket oil pan. So we're going to get to that over on the bench over here in a minute, but I just wanted to show you. I don't remember if I showed you the grill or not. It turned out great. I'm happy with that. Some things that didn't turn out so great, but they're going to be fine. Let me show you these. What I've done is, we'll just jump right over here. So we're at the fender. I know this was last week. I talked about how we needed to revamp this original old fender. So the front, somebody else had already replaced this, and I can tell because the aftermarket front pieces have like a ripple right here, a little wrinkle when they stamped it. The original GM ones didn't. Now some people will fill that because they don't like that little, pinch when it got folded. I like less Bondo. Less filler is better. I didn't strip all this out. I just blocked it out and squared it up. They had kind of a peak in it and a low spot. So I just worked it down. I didn't have to add any filler to this front part. There was a little low spot right in here. It must have been hit or something. I don't know. But I just evened that out. That's all I did. I didn't rework it. It'll be fine. On this side, I cut out that pie shape piece I showed last week up to this fold. And I welded in a new one. And it's got one layer, just a skim coat of filler on it. And it blocked out pretty good. Although I think somebody else had worked on this too, because as I was sanding my filler out, squaring everything up, blocking it in good, I shouldn't say dipped, but it showed other filler that I didn't put in. So I just kept blocking it out until I caught metal somewhere. That's how I do it, to put as thin a coat of filler on as you can, is just keep blocking it until you hit metal. Once you've hit a spot of metal, you kind of got to quit there because, well, the metal won't sand, and then you'll end up having a little high spot where the metal's at. You'll keep sanding around it. Turned out good. It just needs a couple little spots, and I'll block it out again, and it should be good. Not perfect, but good. So there's that for that. You don't see that. I mean, whatever. I don't know. I had fun. So the next thing I worked on this week was the cowl or cowl cover. No, I don't know what you call it. Somebody had put in I think like the square body style or the newer antenna on it that had the square base, and they drilled holes into it. Fun. So I welded those back up, and I just barely touched it with filler. And I sanded everything out. I thought it was good. I put a coat of paint on it, and now that I got white, shows everything. And I don't just mean dirt. It shows any imperfection. It's just something about white. I hate white. But even where the clear coat had peeled off, I feathered all that in really good. And I can still get the light on it just right, and there's just a slightest little line still. So I'll wet sand it, block it out one more time, put a couple more coats on it. Eventually I'll say uncle, but that ain't good enough for me. Plus I missed a couple spots in here, and you won't see it, but that still bothers me. So I'll touch those up too. And recoat it, a couple more coats. Down here in front, you've already seen this, but this is a store-bought aftermarket fender. Excuse me. And this is way lighter. When I picked this up compared to the one over there we looked at, it's like 3 to 5 pounds lighter. It's definitely not as heavy gauge as the original. It's just how things are. It's in pretty good shape. It's got a little tape on that end. I'll have to clean that off. But just from being in storage, I mean, I think this is Tom's truck. I think he's had this fender bouncing around for, I don't know, probably a good 10 years, maybe longer. So it's just got a little bit of some abrasion here and some just little tiny dings from just being moved. So I'll touch that up this week. Next week I'll have that. Yeah, I'll have that in paint. Why not? I'll make that call if everything goes right. Moving right along because we got more over here on this side of the shop. I got every table and I got sawhorses out even. So just we'll take a quick stop here on our way around. This is the hood latch and the front grill support. So I got a coat of paint on them. I think both sides. I'll check again when it dries out real good. But those turned out, I don't know, I think they turned out pretty good. I was happy with it. Moving over here, on this table, we have the, what are they? Hood hinges. Got one coat of paint on those. Now, somebody had used, I don't know, like a spray on undercoating or something, and I scratched and scraped, and this isn't a show quality truck. He said, don't worry about under the hood at all. I had to throw a coat of paint on it real quick. It turned out pretty decent, actually. Then we moved to the fun part, and I'm going to ask for your help. Somebody help me. I mean, I'll figure it out eventually, but I took off the old oil pan, and you'll see here this is a truck pan. I'm not sure on camera how well you can tell, but this is how deep the truck pan is, and you can see how much shorter the Camaro pan is. That will give us the clearance we need underneath the vehicle. It's about 2 inches. Now, I haven't measured it exactly, but I mean, we already bought it, so it's going in. I did take off, they had a block off plate. Now, this is for an external cooler. I don't know why it has this stem on it. I guess maybe because you could drill it out and use it. I just figured that out. But it's got a fiber paper type gasket. And I mean, that's fine. But the one off of this truck, the truck pan, if it fits, which I believe it will, I'm going to use it. It's just cleaner. It's got a way nicer gasket. It's got the rubber insert gasket. So we'll use that on the new pan. Yeah, whatever. On the new pan. Now, for the fun part. There's a couple of fun parts. I'm going to save the worst for last instead of the best for last. Right here, I know I'm moving around a lot today, but there's so much to see. So in this new Camaro pan, I guess there was a few reviews on it. It's an aftermarket oil pan, and it looks good to me. It came with a window tray already in it. You have to transfer over the oil sensor and a couple of brackets. But down in these holes right here, I'm not going to try to show you because it's going to be impossible. But they go in and they make turns. Like this one, I think, comes out this hole. And that one goes into the filter. And then this is the drain back for the rest, the top of the motor, I believe. Doesn't really matter. It's a drain back. And the casting had sharp edges and it's kind of blocking part of the passageway. So Tom's request, at his request, and I didn't mind doing it, I got in here with Dremel. I just cleaned up all them sharp edges and kind of made like a ramp or a waterfall to go in there and soften them corners just to get better oil flow. I didn't want to gouge too deep. I don't know what all is in there. I believe they're just, this one's the bolt casting. So if I went too far, it probably wouldn't leak, but I just would rather not chance it. I rounded it out pretty good. Now what you've been waiting for, the fun stuff. I don't know what this is or what the deal is. And if you could comment and tell me, I would appreciate it. Not just for the comments, but because I don't know what I'm doing. Did I ever tell you guys I ain't a mechanic? I'm not a mechanic. You probably figured that out by now. It's going to be hard to see. And again, on camera, it's darker than in life. I got tons of lights out here. But you see, it's a little dirtier than I would have liked, which just means whoever owned it probably didn't change the oil as often as I would like. But if you spray a little brake clean on that, it's just a varnish. It's just build up a little varnish. Look at here, it wipes right off. So I'm not too concerned with it being heavy, cakey. It's a little heavy, but not terrible. What bothers me is all these little bits. Can you see that little black part right there? I don't know. You can see that. I hope you can, because this is what I don't know what to do. Between these nuggets in here, and then where I clean this spot off, there's just a whole bunch of cracks in this aluminum. I don't know what kind of cracks. They look like Texas soil. I mean, it's a heavy pan, but I've never noticed that. But all these little sticky bits is what's bothering me. They look loose. Well, they're not. I'll show you. Like right there's one. I don't know if you can see it, but they don't move. Let me come over here. And this is like, I don't know, that's fine. Oil pan, right? And then you see it a little bit. They're stuck there, people. I mean, there I knocked them off. So they are, I believe they're aluminum pieces. Once I knock off a few, I'll get a magnet. Check that out later. Later. But it's concerning to me. I can't get them. I mean, I can get them off, but they're welded right on there. I've never seen it before. If anybody has, please tell me it's normal, or at least tell me you've seen it. I was told the motor's good. There's going to be a lot of work if it's not. But I mean, you can buy another one and we switch it out again, I guess. Again, you probably can't see it, but this is the cutout for the oil filter. And by the way, the GM oil filter has the same kind of casting, sharp edges, but not as bad. Anyhow, this, whether you can see it or not, is even, can you hear them? It's got all kinds of little BBs all stuck all over it. And there is some little cracking in that too. Now the cracking might be a casting, but these little nuggets of aluminum, I believe they are, I don't like it. So I wanted to do this on camera. Excuse me. We're going to take this bottom pan out together, that black surround thing. You're going to have to forgive me. I got a cough today, I guess. I didn't have it until I turned the camera on. But I wanted to get this out, so watch your ears real quick. I just got 4 bolts. And look at the bottom of this pan and see what's going on. All right, last one. The engine said no oil written right on it, but believe me, it had oil in it, because when I took the pan out, I forgot to check and to make sure. I should have drained it, because yeah, it ran all everywhere. I know better. You don't trust and believe people. You just check things for yourself. Yeah, I don't know if that's right either. Can you guys see that? I've never taken one of these out. You can't. I'm going to tip you up. So in this sensor, man, I have lights and you still can't see this reddish thing. It wobbles around on there pretty good, but maybe that's what it does. I'm new to this LS thing, but even being new to the LS, I know you're not supposed to have metal in the bottom of a pan. I don't have my darn lights, but we're still going to rub our hand in there. Oh, this is worse. There's a little piece of something. Don't feel hard though. Oh, I lost it. There it is. Take my word for it. It doesn't feel hard. What's going on here? It feels rubbery. I just broke it. I don't know what that was. But in the bottom of this pan, yep, got a bunch of them little BBs stuck to the bottom of that too. Now, how could that ever get that hot? I'm starting to think it's not a problem. I don't know why, but that would be horrible casting. It's just big hunks in there. I can't tell you enough how much this is bothering me. But for that, if something burned in the motor and those hot pieces came down, I could see them bonding to this aluminum if they were screaming hot. But at the bottom of the oil pan, there's just no way they'd be hot enough to go all the way down there and stick. And they are stuck to the bottom. It's like somebody had this sitting around and they just welded above it and let all the sparks fall in it. It's weird. That's all I can say. Weird. Everything is just bumpy and pokey. So maybe it's a casting. Please, somebody let me know, because this is bothering me. We're probably going to put it together anyway. I mean, what else are we going to do? Run it? Try it? Figure it out after that? Well, I don't know. That'll be up to Tom. I'll give him a jingle tonight and tell him what's going on. The next thing is, we had talked about how this gasket, on his new gasket, was just folded up in the box and peeled apart in a bunch of pieces. So we're gonna give this a good look over and see if it's any good. And it appears to be pretty good. It's not delaminating. I don't see any parts or pieces coming loose. It looks like somebody used a little silicone on the end, just on the corner, it looks like. Not too concerned with that. A little bit there too. Maybe that's when they made it. Appears to be bonded together good. We'll take putty knife. Just give that a little help, get it out of there. Wasn't stuck too bad, but I'm getting a little stickage right here. Oh, it's riveted. It's got a pop rivet holding it on there. You guys probably knew that. I bet there's one of you guys are laughing, looking at me, wondering what I was doing. I guess I'm not taking that off to look at the bottom just today. I'm just going to clean up the top. This a lot better. But there is a pop rivet right there. I'll drill that out. We'll get this off, inspect it some more, and I'll do some research on all these bumps and pieces I don't like. And I'll get back with you and let you know. That's what we got going so far. Then we're going to take the dipstick, the pickup tube, and everything out of the motor still. We got to get this sensor out of here too. I've never had one of them out. Again, we've already talked about this. I'm not Mr. LS, but I'm learning. And if I have any questions, I'll call around, phone a friend. Somebody will know what to do. I wonder how tight that would be. Does anybody know? I got an odd feeling it's going to be tight, but we'll see. It kind of looks plastic, so I better take it easy. I'm going to use my Fits-All wrench because I'm not going to crank on it. But we'll give her a little. Oh yeah, that wasn't. Must have an old ring or something. Came right loose. And I'll take that. I mean, I don't buy a new one if we don't need to. I'll run it over to a buddy of mine. He works on these quite often. He can tell me if that's good or not. If not, we'll ask Tom. Maybe we'll throw a new one in before we put that oil pan back in. But I've never really played with these too much. I don't know how they work, but I'm assuming it's a low oil light. It must be that ring knows the difference. Although there's no real top or bottom. So something new to me. I'll figure it out. And when I do, I won't bother you because you probably already know. Well, that's all there is to look at that. Oh, I should mention when I pulled the oil plug out, it's a magnetic oil plug and it did not have any pieces stuck to it. I mean, if there was a little fuzz, I couldn't really tell. It looked all right to me. Okay, I'm back over to the truck and we'll see if we can take off some more parts. I think you guys hang out for a few minutes, see what you think. Well, how are we looking on time? Let me give this a quick gander. Oh, we're doing good. Let me run you back over to the truck. And we'll see about that pickup tube. Now, those pickup tubes are only, I knew this from a different, I have seen LSs. I have worked on them a little. The pickup tube on these, it's not my favorite thing in the world because they use a single bolt. Now, they make kits and conversion issues and things, I don't know what you call them, where you can put 2 bolts in it. Can you guys see? Probably not. Get it a little lower. Get you right in there. So down here is the pickup tube. Yeah, you can kind of see it across there. You can even just see the 1 bolt. What size is that? 10? Probably. I got a 10 right here, so it can't possibly fit. But this pickup tube is way too long, and it wraps around, and it goes around a bolt, and I believe it's got a single, it's a 10, but it ain't as loose as I'd like, or doesn't fit my wrench that great, but it can't be that tight. Boy, it sure wasn't. I know one thing. When I replace it, it's going to be tighter than that. So there's a single 10 millimeter up in here, and that's how GM made them. If for some reason you ever take the front cover off, and it looks like somebody's had this one off and put a new water pump, the whole front of this deals with a water pump, and I or oil pump too. I'm sorry, oil pump on the inside. And when guys have it apart, a lot of times they'll put in the 2-bolt pickup tube. Now, I think it's a good idea. It holds better. But the problem with it is if you had to work on it like I'm doing right now, you can't take it apart without pulling the whole front cover off because you put that bolt in there, it's inaccessible without taking that cover off. Appears I can't see any better than you. Trust me. I took one bolt out and it's loose, so it should be all right. I don't want to climb under this thing. I believe there's only one other bolt, and it won't be a 10, I'm sure. I'll grab that dipstick while I'm thinking about it. Oh, here. Won't be using that anymore in this truck. Remember, we got a shorter one. Well, let's see if I got the wrench for that handy. I believe that's going to be, I don't know. You guys probably know. I can never guess. I'm going to try. I just have a few sitting here, and I'll just. Now, of course, I got to get a wrench. That should come right out of there. And then we have the windage tray. I'm not really sure on that. My plan was not to replace the windage tray. There's already one in it. There's no real reason to replace it. It's just, I mean, it's a piece of metal. It's not like it's going to wear out. But now that we have the metal pieces in the oil pan, I'm kind of thinking it wouldn't hurt to take that windage tray out. Just, I don't know, get my eyes in there and see something. Probably won't see anything. All right, we'll just grab that one. It can't be tight, right? I know my hand's not a hammer, but I want to make this quick. You know, like impact wrench quick. And that should pull our pickup tube off. I mean, you're going to see just how short our new one is. It's 2 inches. And if this doesn't do it, then I'm going to look stupid on camera again. That's all right. I never tried to tell you guys I know this stuff. Is there another one? I don't know. Can you see one? I can't see another one. It sure felt like there's another one. Oh, that one there. The bracket goes in and back, so how am I gonna hit that one? I don't want to pull on this motor too much. We can get it right. It's just gonna be snug. It ain't really tight. Ready to move my arm if the thing falls down. Yeah, I know. I worry too much. It's probably fine. All right, now we're gonna get her apart. I'm confident. Oh yeah, she's loose. Well, okay. It's looser. Is that? How does that come out? Does that pop out? I bet it does. Yep. Come on, get out of there. There we go. Now it's got an O-ring around it right there, and I'm not seeing an O-ring. Probably got stuck up inside. But there's your single bolt mount right here. Nice of them to put that bracket so you didn't drop it. All right, we'll leave that in the oil pan. No, I'll just have the cardboard. Oh, sorry about that. All right, well, it's looking good so far. Well, I'm going to get that windage tray off. If I see anything that's noteworthy or I think you guys would be interested in, I'll show you next week when I make my video. If it's just clean and everything's in good shape, I won't worry about it. Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys watching my videos. Comments are, that's above and beyond. You don't need to comment. You don't need to subscribe. You don't need to give me a thumbs up. But all that stuff would be great. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to get more done every week. I'm going to get away from body work for a little bit. It's just been good weather. So I kind of catch up on that. I'll probably I'll probably give this a week. I mean, I'll work on the oil pan. Maybe I can get it back in if everything's cleaned up. Everything works out all right. See what Tom says. We already showed you the windage tray and a new pickup tube and all that. But I'm going to get back to work this week. I got some Farm Loving Fool stuff to do on my other channel. Some farm stuff for the spring. And then I'm going to work on the 1971 C10 in Spanish Gold. That's the plan. I'll get that fender cleaned up. I'm going to get a coat of paint on that one and this one. That's the only paint I'm going to bother you with next week. And I'm planning on getting this exhaust complete before I even turn the camera on. That's what I want to do. But thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys coming by. Again, my name's Darren. It was great having you. We'll see you next week. Let's see how many times I got to turn that off button. You guys that are around the channel a while know this is like end game every time. I want to try it different. I'm going to slide the camera a little bit. And then I'm gonna say 5. I'm having a bad day. All one.